right. You guys know what this is. This is this is a Puffy alert. A Puffy alert. Shout out to my man Puffy, man, sitting right now in the county jail right now, wondering what the hell is going on. We're gonna talk about what happened with our man Puffy this evening. We got 21 in the building. Click that like button. I like you. Shout out to you guys from Instagram, from YouTube, Facebook, and the Rumblers. Let's get ready to rumble. Shout out to you guys over there. We're about to get started with this impromptu live stream when it comes to Puffy Combs, his arrest, what took place, what is taking place right now, because they haven't exposed anything, but from a person who has been arrested enough times in his life, I can tell you basically what's going on right now when it comes to the indictment or indictments. Remember, Puffy is dealing with not only the stateside indictments, but he's also dealing with federal indictments as well. But the states have already come for him as he was sitting, probably watching the same football game we were watching on Monday night in his Manhattan hotel. And then suddenly life has new meaning to me. They came and got your boy Puffy, man. They came and got him, man. Puffy. What can we say? I wish Cologne of the Night was by Puffy Unforgivable. I wish we had it so he could be forgiven, but that's not the Cologne of the Night. Cologne of the Night is or I forgot. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but that cologne, I don't know if you guys can see that at all. This is a clone of YSL Baby Cat. This is a very hard. Baby Cat is already hard to get as is. I mean, it is a $200, $300 cologne, and it's hard to get. It's a vanilla scent, really good cologne. And to get a decent clone of it, that's hard to get. So to be able to get a bottle of this was not easy. So fortunately, some of you guys in the States, my uncle brought this down for me when I ordered it, and it smells amazing. And yes, it is a very, very close clone to Baby Cat. So I'll put that title of it in the description. Let me turn some music on for us. Well, at least turn the music up a little bit. There we go. Did you guys hear that? Hear that music taking place? All right. Hope the mic sounds great. Yeah, tonight we're going to be talking about Puffy's arrest. He just got arrested not even a few hours ago. We're going to look at hear from the YouTube channel Sidebar, who has been following Puffy's investigations and indictments over the last year or two. Many of us have already been doing that. And so what we're going to be taking a time out to analyze why he got arrested during the evening, how it impacts us as passport bros, blue book gentlemen, passport kings. Yes, this is a message going out to us as well. Don't think that this is just something that happened to one man. This is not a one-man situation, especially those of us in the Afro-Colombian community. We know that this could have happened to any man. So therefore, we're going to talk about how this is an example of what passport bros or black expats should be doing. So look out for yourself so situations like this does not occur to you. But first of all, we're going to get started with the shout outs. Shout out with the guys on Rumbles. I want to get a chance to shout out to you guys on Instagram. I'll pull you guys up in a second. Shout out over there on Instagram. Shout out to my man T-Mac on Rumble. We got 13 people on Rumble already. Shout out to you gentlemen over there. Rumble, Young Men Rumble. On YouTube, we're going to scroll up. Make sure you guys, when you donate and you give your pleasure proceeds, make sure that you give it by way of Cash App and PayPal, because we are not monetized. Therefore, any money that you give to YouTube, you're giving it to YouTube, not to us. Shout out to my man E-Man in the building. Shout out to you. Appreciate you, brother. And shout out, we got our first Cash App of the evening. Let me pull that up. Let me push all this stuff out of the way, close all these windows and boxes. Shout out to all you guys that are joining by way of Patreon. I got some stuff that's coming down this week for Patreon. And first shout out that's going out to is my man T-Mac with the $10 We already know. Let's get that man before we do the shout outs, get that man his pleasure video. Let me pull this down right here and go right here. We can go right here with the cornbread fed right out the gate.
Let the show begin. Yeah, damn. Lord Jesus.
Shout out to my girl Daphne and Thelma and all the cowgirls out there. Shout out to my man Fred for appreciating the beauty. He said, oh, they got him. He said, damn, son. Yeah, they done got Diddy at night. They arrested him at night like they did Jesus. Remember, they arrested Jesus at night when it was illegal. In a hotel room. So they had already planned. Let's get started with the evening part in a second. But they had already planned on arresting him. They had already informed him that he was going to be arrested. That's one thing that I can say. There was no running up into a hotel room, kicking indoors, a SWAT team coming through the window. It was not one of those things. It was one of those things that was already negotiated with his attorneys. How do I know? I've experienced it before. I know exactly how it works out. I experienced the negative arrest and the soft touch arrest that Puffy got this evening. Shout out to my man Volok, 85 in the building. Take that. Puffy. Now you're going to have to take that. That's what dude's going to be doing to you, Puffy. Take that. Or maybe Puffy will be doing that to them. My man David Dice is in the building. Other Dice family. First of his name. David says this big up to the family, Andre and Andrea. Shout out to you guys, and shout out to the Black Manosphere Conclave. If you guys haven't bought your tickets for 2025, what are you doing? Those prices are going to be going up at the end of the year. You're going to be mad at yourself. Get your tickets for the Black Manosphere Conclave 2025. Is going to be in Miami, Florida, next September, the first week of September. Actually, right after Labor Day, just to give you guys a heads up so you guys will remember. It's right after the Labor Day weekend. This is breaking news. Yes, it is. It is breaking news. So we're going to do a breakdown. We're going to do hear what the news has to say about this. And then we're going to go to the legal team that's been following this, which is a legal YouTube channel called Sidebar. And they have an analysis of why they already knew this was going to come. I said these arrests were going to come. Puffy's situation is just like R. Kelly's. You notice the states came for R. Kelly first, didn't they? Right? Then the feds came for R. Kelly, right? Same thing with Diddy. Same thing. They're coming for Diddy, and they coming. Remember, I said this months ago. When it comes to feds and states and your attorneys, it depends on how much money you have will dictate how much time you get. How much money you have will dictate how much time you get. Well, R. Kelly got 20-something years. Yes, he would have gotten life if he didn't have the money he has. I'm going to say this again. R. Kelly will be coming out of jail at 77, stepping in the name of love. I know some steppers that still step at 77. Remember, Ron Isley went in for a few years and came out stepping in his 70s and 80s. So it's possible to still build your career up after you get done doing time. But Kelly got them 20 years, but that's because Kelly had money to get 20 years. If it was just you and I, mere mortals, without that type of money, we'd have been looking at way more than 20 years because of what was taking place with the young ladies with Kelly. Same thing with Puffy. I'm telling you how the system works. Behind pulling the curtains back, guys, that's how the U.S. system works. All this, I got an attorney for this. That don't mean nothing, bro. He gonna do some time. His money is gonna dictate how much time he does. By the time the ink dries on the state indictments, because they're not arresting him just because they ain't got nothing else to do. By the time the ink rests on or dries on the state indictments, here come the federal indictments come walking down the street. all those accusations with him having connections with other drug dealers and things like that, all that's coming out. All that trafficking that's saying that he was doing, allegedly. Let's put this out there, allegedly, because we don't know what this brother was doing. We don't want to find our brother guilty or not in advance. But what I'm saying is this: how the system works, bro. If you got paper, you can buy the amount of time that you're gonna get. If you got enough paper, you can you can end up on doing 5 years, 10 years. If you got enough paper, you might get 20 years instead of life. That's how the system works. So all y'all that think, he gonna have a good attorney and this and that, bruh, this ain't the Johnny Depp civil case. This is the state and the feds coming for you. And they've been building this case as long as we've been talking about it. They've been building it for a few years. So they haven't released what he was arrested for quite yet. But we know it wasn't for jaywalking. We know it wasn't for he went through a red light. We knew that all this was coming. So I'm just giving you guys tonight the background of what could take place when a person is arrested and you got money. Once again, shout out to T-Mac. He said, what's good all? And shout out to my man, T-Mac over in Iman Perry of the Perry family, representing over there on Rumble. If you have not subscribed to our Rumble channel, please make sure that you guys do, as well as subscribe to Andrea Wallace TV. We got 56 in the building. Let me hurry up so we can get to the information. Shout out to my man Deuce in the building. Shout out to my man Rain in the building. Also Blizzard Orm abroad. Shout out to you. Peace, brethren. We got my man BMT in the building. What are we doing right tonight? What are we doing right tonight? We got BMT, my man Aaron in the building. Shout out to you. My man Jay Shar is in the building as well as my man, once again, T-Mac. Appreciate you. He said even a billionaire can save you, especially if you are negra. Yes, sir. Your brother. He said Russell Simmons is brilliant. He got the heck out of Dodge. I don't know why Puffy didn't do that. I don't know why Diddy didn't do that. I mean, I don't know why Kelly didn't do that. I don't know why these dudes hung out in the States. That one, man, please let them, when they indicted me and I was looking at 135 years, when they had indicted your boy Dre, I had enough money and I had a jet. I bet you remember a couple months ago when they found Puffy jet and it was empty, couldn't have been me. My jet would have been packed full of me. That's it. It would have been nobody else on that plane, me and the pilots. That's it. I don't need nobody else to know where I'm going. Believe you me, I've been taking parachute lessons. Pilots, y'all keep on flying. I'm about to jump out of here. I've been taking parachute lessons. Man, please. Let me have been Kales and Puffy. And with that type of money. Man, y'all hanging around the wrong country at the wrong time. Man, I'd have found a country that does not send you anywhere, that doesn't expedite you, that doesn't see you or see you back. Man, please. Wouldn't be catching me in a hotel in Manhattan at night. Bet that. Yes, sir. Shout out to Russell. Shout out to Russell Simmons. He said, Diddy should have got left in the States, should have left the States like Russell Simmons. There's another Russell Simmons connoisseur. 67 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Uriah, my favorite Bible name. It was great to meet you at the Black Manosphere Conclave and have dinner and hang out with your brother. Yes, don't send us super chats. Send them through Cash App or PayPal. Shout out to you, brother. You brothers for supporting the channels. Oh man, Riches. What's good? What's good to you, Riches? I hope you're having a great evening, brother. He said I would leave the game. Man, listen, I'd have came up missing faster than Biggie and Pac, a shooter did. You better believe it'd have been me, Biggie, and Pac missing. Where'd Andre go? He had the #1 album in the world. Man, I'd have been missing. There ain't no way in heck y'all gonna catch me like that. Not like that. Not after having a passport and traveling the world. And you knew these indictments were coming down for a long time. For at least a year, you could have got your life on track and been in another country. There is no, man. Shout out to my man Top Notch. He say, Trump, Diddy, are we going to be cell buddies? It looks like it. It looks like it. Shout out to my man Los. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Make sure you guys subscribe to Crypto King YouTube channel, because I've learned a lot about crypto from Los, and so will you. Hey, Los, do me a favor. Drop the link to your channel if you don't mind. We got 70 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Shout out to all you guys on Instagram that are watching, as well as the Rumblers. T-Max over on Rumble says, he said, I would have left the game and hooked up with a woman like that. Yeah, I would have, man, I've been gone, man. I'd have been gone. I'm going to scroll down just a little longer, guys. Let a few more guys get in here, and then we're going to get started with the news headlines, and then we're going to get started with what the attorneys have to say about this. Shout out to my man Jay Anderson, the great, for being here. He said, salute to the grown man chat. Chat lives matters on this channel. He said, Andrea and Andrea love crossing borders. Yeah, the diddler has been arrested. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, he say, nah, money can't help but ask that weird boy from Hollywood who got life if his money helped. Well, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. African Wolf in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Glad that you're here. They got Diddy. Sheesh. They got him. We all knew this was coming. Let's not act too surprised. 2K, and shout out to you, brother. He said, I'm watching him now. Watching him now. Where you watch 2K, if you can, drop the link to where you're watching it on. Drop the link in the comments where you're watching it. We can all watch it together as well. I've got a little bit here and there, but any of you guys see it, any live footage or live headlines that you want us to watch together, just drop the link in the comments section, and I'll pull it up and we can watch it together. Shout out to you guys. Capricorn Way is in the building. Shout out to you as well, being here, kind sir. Yeah, he's putting the Epstein. More likely he has too much dirt on the industry. Epstein had it too. Yeah, they didn't give Epstein time. They just said, man, bro, come on in this cell. We got to talk to you. The government took the president of Venezuela's plane. Yeah, they took his plane. Man, that's sad, man. That's sad. Just imagine if another country just took Air Force One from us. That's how sad they did with the Venezuelan president. They just took his plane, man. This is about a couple weeks ago. Black Empowerment 01 in the building. Shout out to you. Glad that you're here. And Pan's World in the building. Shout out to all you guys. Glad that you get them out here. What? We got Chewy in here? We got Theo and Chewy? Oh, man, I'm doing something right. We got 66 people in the building. Click that like button. I like you. Make sure you like us, too. Nomadically Speaks. Sad situation. No matter what it is, this really is a sad situation. And my man Frank Ellis of the Ellis family, first of his name, he says this is no surprise. It was just a matter of time. Oh yeah, 50 Cent got the Surviving Diddy movies coming out. the mini series for ABC. it's gonna be Hey, this the crazy part. If they arrested him during the day, he could at least posted bond. But shoot, you got to have a bondsman come at night, and yeah, Diddy, yeah. Let's get started with the videos. Let us get started with the videos, gentlemen. Let's go right here. Let me split that camera. And let's go here. Let that get started for us. And while that's getting started for us, there's always get past that.
Update. Sean Diddy Combs.
Oh, wait a minute. Can we hear? Because even I can't hear that.
Arrested tonight at a hotel in Manhattan, according to.
Let me go get another one. Let me go get another video. Let's go back. Because I cannot hear that one. Let me refresh. And let's see if we can find another video. There you go.
New York Times is reporting that Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested.
Let me pause that. Let me know if you guys can hear that. Let me turn my volume up so I can hear too. And I'll turn this music down.
New York Times is reporting that Sean P. Diddy Combs has been arrested. Let me repeat. Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs has been arrested. Let me tell you what I do know, and it ain't much at this point. Arrested in Manhattan. This evening, grand jury indicted him according to a person familiar with the indictment, not authorized to speak publicly. The charges in the indictment not immediately clear, but you know that there's been this massive federal investigation, right? They raided his home in Los Angeles. They raided his home in Miami, much of it after a civil suit from his former girlfriend, Cassie, who, by the way, he settled within a day. And then after that, video came out showing him beating her to a living pulp in a hotel. But a lot of the allegations in the lawsuit that, Cassie had actually filed against him provided, I think, some meat on the bones for the feds. But the New York Times saying that this happened, they don't have a lot more information than this. We are also trying to confirm this, but I can tell you that his attorney has made a statement, and let me read it to you because I think it confirms what the New York Times is reporting, and it's this. And it's Mark Agnifilo, his...
Okay, before we go off into the attorney, because, you got to pause it every few seconds. Fair use. Before we go off into the attorney, so they let us know that they don't know too much about what's going on right now when it comes to the indictments. We know that it's going to be federal or state, so that's what they're looking at right now. And they're also saying that more information is going to be coming out letting us know that more information will be coming out in the next few days regarding the indictment, why they arrested him. Will anybody else be arrested? Don't think that this is the only arrest that's going to take place. I'll say this again. Just because Diddy got arrested, that don't mean other individuals that may not be as famous or some individuals that are famous may be arrested. Remember, they had a list of individuals that were a part of this investigation. Shout out to my man Slick in the building. My man Carl is in the building as well. And my man Theo Chewbacca as well. Yes, sir. So we got 70 people in the building. Click that like button. We like you. Make sure you like us too. Shout out to Theo over on Rumble. Shout out to you, brother. He said, good to see you here. Yes, sir. With the $10 Rumble rant. Shout out to Theo. And shout out to you guys for donating to the Cash App and to the PayPal. Appreciate you, gentlemen. Let's get back and hear what Diddy's attorney is about to say.
His attorney, quote, "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges. Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. So again, that is Mark Agnifilo. That's the attorney for Sean Diddy Combs. But that's pretty massive.
So before we go any further, we're gonna bring that beat back. We're gonna bring that back, and we're gonna do a breakdown on what was just said from his attorney.
It's this, and it's Mark Agnifilo, his attorney. Quote: "We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office."
Okay, before we go any further, we know that is the U.S. Attorney's Office that's coming after him. It's not just the states that's coming after him. It's feds that's coming after him as well. So we know that he's considered that it's not fair and it's unjust, even though we all saw the video of him beating that girl like she was a grown man that owed him money. He still thinks it's unjust.
Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who.
So even though he did all this stuff, he still put himself in a situation that was negative. And I'm gonna tell you guys what I mean by that. This is the passport bro moment. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I'm trying to cut back on my cursing on YouTube. Guys, after you guys get done with Theo's classes, after all the hard work that you put in with studying, all you guys that are 90%, 80% of your disability benefits in the military, and you finally get your 100%. All you guys that finally got your real estate to the point where you're good and you can leave the states. In other words, all you men that have been putting in all the hard work, and your desire was to finally use your passport, not to visit any countries anymore, but to do recon work so you can finally move to a country. Don't fuck it up. I'm going to say this again. Do not F up after all your hard work. And most of Diddy's situation is part of it is about business, but much of it is about women. I'm talking to you expats, you blue book gentlemen, you passport bros, you guys that plan on relocating to other countries. Don't F it up over women. Don't throw away all your hard work over women, dudes. Diddy is that's why I want to bring this around to us brothers that are traveling. Because just like Diddy, just like they're describing Diddy and all the hard work that brother put in over 30 years, whether you like it or not, the brother been on some of the best stages doing plays. Whether you like it or not, he's been at the Oscars, he's been at the Emmys, he's been at the Grammys several times over. Whether you like it or not, he was part of one of the best drinks to come into the black community, the Ciroc. Whether you like it or not, he was the one during the Obama time period that was saying, go out and vote. Whether you like him or not, the brother put in the work. There are people that you're going to be putting in the work, and guess what? There are going to be some people that don't like you either. Don't F it up. And don't F it up for a female. Don't get some female pregnant. Don't be in the States doing violence. Don't be doing stuff like that. If that female in the States cheat, bruh, I'm going to say this, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. If your woman in the States, you walk in the door and she got somebody nuts in her throat, bruh, nothing that she done is worth you throwing away all your hard work, your plans on living in another country, you going to jail, and your dreams being deferred. Any female that I was with in the States, she could have sucked all the nuts that she wanted. No female was going to get me mad enough to end up in jail and get my passport impacted or my travels deferred. There is no woman in the States that should have that type of power over you guys. Yeah, I'll be doing homework too. I'm with you, Uriah. I just want you guys to know this. We're about to get back to the Diddy part and his attorney talking with the philanthropy. But I just want you guys to know, in this time period while you're doing all the hard work, don't F it up. You deserve the best, and don't throw it away, because that's what we're seeing with Diddy. That's what we're seeing with Kales. That's what we're seeing with too many brothers lately, man. We can't even blame it on the white boys no more. Now the brothers are coming out doing some stupid stuff. So let's go back to the video. Y'all want to hear me, preaching, but it, like Carl said, it ain't worth it. It's not worth it, bro. Do not throw whatever you've been doing away for none of these females, bro, in the States. Let them talk. Keep on going by. Well, she called me. I don't care what she called you, bro. Keep on pushing. Man, she cheating on me. Let her cheat. Get rid of her. Man, she put her hands on me. Call the police. Ain't nothing was worth you losing your opportunity to live in another country or make the United States your second home and not your only home. Nothing should interrupt that. Nothing. Just like nothing should interrupt you doing your homework for Theo's classes. Nothing. Let's get back to the video. Shout to Theo. Shout to Dave too. I'm going to pull it back, the video back just a little bit, so you can hear all the great things they're saying that he did, but yet and still, all of that was thrown away.
Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the Black community. He is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. To his credit, Mr. Combs has been nothing but cooperative with this investigation, and he voluntarily relocated to New York last week in anticipation of these charges.
How you gonna volunteer to go back to your own home state? Come on, Puffy.
Please reserve your judgment until you have all the facts. These are the acts of an innocent man with nothing to hide, and he looks forward to clearing his name in court. So again, that is Mark Agnifilo. That's the attorney for Sean Diddy Combs. But that's pretty massive news that maybe is news that we've just been waiting every moment to drop, because not only do we know that the feds did these two massive raids on his Miami and his Los Angeles mansions, we also know that multiple lawsuits have dropped since. So the lawsuit that obviously Cassie launched with so many details, that had just remarkable details in it. Just and what's really incredible about all of the different lawsuits against Sean Combs is how similar everyone's story is. Now, is that because he did the same things to all of these alleged victims, or is it because all of these people filing suit see the story before them and think it makes a good narrative, so why not just, follow with those same details? But I will tell you some of the details, and I'm going to paraphrase, so you'll have to just, forgive me for the colloquial, but many of the allegations say that there was sexual assault through drugging, and many of those alleged druggings and sexual assaults happened at large parties, where the allegations were that he brought in a number of women, and sometimes young women / girls. Allegations that many of those at the party, many of the female party attendees looked as though they were underage, may very well have been underage, but that multiple women said that they were drugged or saw other women being drugged. In fact, we just reported on a lawsuit last week of yet another accuser saying that she saw this happen at multiple parties. She was a member of the making of the band. She's suing Diddy for years and years of verbal abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, and sexual abuse. Thanks for watching.
So we're gonna stop that one right there. We got another video that we're gonna go to. So yeah, it's not looking good for your boy. It's not looking good for your boy at all. In the words of Jay-Z, I got 5 passports. I'm never going to jail. Bet Jay-Z got his passport ready. Yeah, they coming for Jay. If y'all think just because Jay married, they ain't coming for Jay, well, he married to Beyonce. Man, feds don't care about nobody. When we gonna get that through our heads? You know how many married white men the feds that came after? You think they care about a married black man? Man, they will come for you. Diddy and Jeffrey. Yep. He said of the black community. Yes, he is. But he's not the only one. You better believe, man, all them dudes that was going to those parties year in and year out, you think they ain't coming to investigate Jamie Foxx? I ain't saying Jamie did anything, but I'm saying, you think they're not coming after Jamie Foxx? You think they're going to ask Meek Mills what was going on in his booty? All the security that was there. You think Kevin Hart ain't shaking in his boots right now? You think they ain't gonna ask Usher to get on somebody's stand? Justin Bieber been waiting to tell his episode. There's a lot of people that's gonna open up their mouths to keep the camera and keep indictments away from what they've built too. Just like Diddy got dirt on a lot of people.
It feels so lovely to be here tonight. What a
Man,
beautiful.
I'm
Give
telling
yourself a round of applause. You're so.
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah.
You see, he established it as a place of truth. What happened?
Oprah coming next. Once I establish this as a place of truth, oh yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So it's quite a few people they're coming after. But let's get started with the next video. Cat opened up a portal. Yes, he did. Did he not? Did he not open up a portal? Certified bad boy for the yeah, for real. Certified. A lot of them dudes. Drake better head on back to Toronto where he belongs. Stop playing around. Let's get started with the YouTube channel sidebar. And these are attorneys that have been investigating Diddy, or not investigating, but kind of following Diddy for a while.
Sex trafficking related charges. If we go to December 2023, there was a woman who accused Combs and former Bad Boy Entertainment president Harvey Pierre and another person of sex trafficking and gang raping her when she was 17 years old. There was a Jane Doe who says that she was flown from Michigan to New York City, supplied with drugs and alcohol, and then assaulted by all three men at Combs's recording studios. Now,
we know that this is not uncommon to happen in recording studios. You bring the hot young chicks off in there. You got drinks, you got drugs, you ready to party. So you're recording at the same time. And the next thing you know, allegedly, certain things could happen.
By the way, has always denied the allegations. And in fact, in response to one lawsuit, had posted, I believe it was on Instagram, enough is enough. For the last couple of weeks, I've sat silently and watched people try to assassinate my character, destroy my reputation and my legacy. Sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do, and he goes on to say, did not do this. Now, again.
Okay. So that was what he just showed was a little clip or little letter from Diddy back in the day saying, hey, man, I'm tired of y'all talking about me like I'm crazy. Put some respect on my name. I didn't do it. But now fast forward over the last year, we've been seeing all type of truths coming out about, allegedly about some of the situations that were happening with Diddy. Shout out to my man, Carl. For the $10 super chat. Cash app. Shout out to you. Let me get you a video real quick. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Let the show begin. Lord Jesus.
But you still don't pay me no attention.
Lord Jesus.
Meet me at the altar with that fat ass. We ain't getting no younger, but that ass fat.
Shout out to you, brother, for the pleasure proceeds that you sent on Cash App.
And that was in relation to a lot of these lawsuits being filed. But when we're talking about sex trafficking, Tracy, and we're talking about the Southern District of New York possibly initiating this search warrant, where does your mind go in terms of what we might be looking at in terms of potential charges, potential allegations, and how it's connected to New York?
So I absolutely believe, and again, simply my hypothesis, he is innocent until proven guilty, that he will be arrested and indicted on sex trafficking charges. I have no doubt about that. And I do believe that he was most likely the kingpin of this. These girls, what that tells me, if it's out of the Southern District of New York, is this is spanning multiple states, and that he is trafficking or allegedly trafficking girls across multiple states.
Okay, now, just to let you guys know something, this is how the feds got involved on this, not the financial part or any of those other things. Let me give you guys a heads up. That's why so many pimps are in federal prison. I'm going to say this again. When I was in the feds, there was a lot of pimps, and I'm talking about true Donald Goins type pimps in the feds. You know why? Because as soon as you take a person against their will, or in a situation where they feel coerced or misled over state lines, it's no longer a state-to-state case. It's a Fed case. When pimps were doing that, when they were bringing women from one state to another state, like they'll take, I'm from Chicago, I'm going to bring all my ladies to the All-Star game in Vegas. That's feds. All they have to do is prove that you did it one time. The feds don't have to prove that Diddy and others did it several times. According to the federal law, if you did it one time, that's all we got to do is prove it. In other words, all we need is one girl, one snitch to tell that you did it at least one time. You may have did it 551 times. We don't need to prove all that. All they need to do is prove that you took a girl or paid someone to take a young lady over state lines. That's what makes it feds. So just in case you guys are wondering how the federal government got involved in this, the state line part. If you steal a car, okay, I'll tell you my story. You ready? Here we go. The guy that snitched on us, how he ended up being a federal snitch. He was in love with some chick in his state. The chick leaves him and go back to North Carolina. Shout out to Culture Cognition. Goes back to North Carolina, where she was born and raised. This dude was so much in love. Now remember, we young. 21s, 22s, 19s. This dude steals a car and drives it to North Carolina. He's halfway to North Carolina. True story. This is my story. Gets stopped by the local police. They find out that car was from a different state. Now it's feds. So instead of doing time, he said, I'll become a snitch. And so all he did was snitch on all the big boys that he knew. And me and my boys just so happened to be some of the guys that he knew. So when I tell you, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to if you take anything over a state line, if a person steals something and takes it over the state lines, the feds can pick it up. Normally they don't. But if you steal something that's of true value, yes. For example, if somebody robs a bank and take that money to another state, now it's fed. It's no longer state responsibility. It's a federal case now. Same thing with Diddy, gentlemen. Yep, Uriah, automatically. Fed ain't even got to ask the states. Soon as that person gets across the state line, Feds say, we're taking over. Let me get that paperwork. So that's how it's like that. Shout out to my man Shy Talk in the building. That's why it's federal right now with Diddy. And what is my motto? What is the motto that I keep letting you guys know when it comes to the feds that we all say in state and fed prison? Feds don't waste no ink. That's the number one motto that we say in the feds. Man, listen, when the feds come for you, feds don't waste no ink. In other words, they don't print indictments for nothing. They got a 98% conviction rate. 98%. Don't matter if you're rich, poor, black, white, Asian, Jewish. I'd have met everybody in there. Like I said, I've met everybody in the feds but a president and an astronaut. Those are the only two I haven't met in the feds. Every other career industry, I saw all them in the feds, no matter what. I've met Indian chiefs. I've met pastors that were the pastors of churches with 100,000 members. I've met so many business moguls, mafia, cartel, you name it. I've met that walk of life, from plumbers to maintenance men. I'm telling you, I've met them all. Like I said, I've met everybody in the feds in my 10 years, except for a president. I met presidents of businesses, but a president and an astronaut. I've met basketball players, NBA stars that you would know them. If I said their name, you'd be like, what? NFL stars. If I said their name, you'd be like, what? Boxers, golf champions, man, dude. So when we say the feds do not waste ink, when they print that indictment out, they've been following that investigation for a long time. He said, isn't that because them people take deals, Dre? That's a major part of it. That's true, Big Pit. Shout out to you, Big Pit, for being in the building. That's true. A lot of dudes do take, I would say at least 70% of dudes take a plea bargain. They come to you like this. They'll say, listen, hey, Andre, you're looking at 135 years. I was really looking at like 165, like looking at 165. And it ain't looking good. So they'll come to you with a plea bargain of like, just do 40, just do 32, based off the amount of money that you're offering or have. Just do 32, and you'll be out in 27. I'm looking like, man, listen, 27, 165, it all sound the same to me. Let's go to court. I was one of the few people that went to court. Let's take it to court. We went straight to court. We didn't even hesitate. We would plea, but they came to us with that plea bargain. We was like, what? Right. Yeah, let's take this to court. They came to us with a 20-year plea bargain. If I'd have signed that paperwork, I would be getting out in 2009. I went in 1989. I'd have been getting out in 2009, man. If I'd have signed that paperwork. No, bruh, no. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's take this right on the court. We want to. No, I got money for attorney. Let's go. But I learned so much about how the feds work with people that got a few dollars and people that got a lot of money. And I kid you not, at the end of the day, it's a 98% conviction rate. 98% conviction rate. Pour me some water. Let's get back to the video, gentlemen. And shout out once again to Carl and Terrence, both for the $10 cash out. In other words, the pleasure proceeds. 10 years, actually 10 years plus, because you know you're going to do a few years probation after you get out to make sure that you acclimate back to the community. Most people don't. 85%, the feds has not only a 98% conviction rate, but 85% of most people that have been convicted go back to prison within the 5-year window. I'll say that again. 85% of men and women that have been convicted and did prison time, 85% recidivism rate, meaning that they either go back to the state prisons, fed prisons, or both. In other words, once a criminal, for the most part, always a criminal. So believe you me, I'm one of the rare stories. I live to tell the tale of surviving the Titanic, known as the prison industrial system. Yeah. He said, I was in college when my homeboy got 75. Yes, bruh. Man, they was in the 80s and 90s, man, they was handing out time because they need dudes to work in Unicorn in those federal prisons. We're going to get back to Diddy, guys. To work in those federal prisons and make that money and make all these products for you guys. It will amaze you how many products that you have in your home right now that were made by federal and state prisoners. A lot. Food. Man, listen. You know how many strawberries and blueberries and so many farm raised. Man, feds got farms, man. You see, y'all see the behind the fence, like in your prison cell. You see that in the movies. You think that that's all prisons look like. Nope. Feds got farms they can lock you up in, where there's a whole farm behind that fence. Man, listen. And Diddy about to get used to it. Oh, he ain't gonna get out. The question is, like I said this before, the question is not if Diddy's gonna get convicted. That's a 98% chance he will. Shout out to R. Kelly for knowing that. The question is, how much time is Diddy going to get? That's it. Anybody that's sitting back thinking, I remember Angry Man, shout out to Angry Man. He said, they're not going to arrest him. He has too much information on too many people. I said, that don't mean a damn thing to the feds. The people that you have information on are the people that get you arrested to get you to shut up. I'm going to say this again. The people that these dudes got like powerful people that he got information on, them people got cleaners, man. Them people got people that clean up their image. Like what's that television show that Kerry Washington was on and she was a cleaner for politicians? That's all she did was clean up politicians' mess. What was that show that was on? She was married. She was cheating with the white president on ABC. All the women like the show because black women like to see black women with the white boys. Shout out to my white brothers out there. That show that Kerry Washington was a part of. They actually interviewed the Scandal. Thank you very much, brothers. They actually interviewed, and I watched it, the woman that actually based the show off of. And that's all she does. She cleans up for politicians. That's it. She says taking care of politicians are like taking care of your kids. She says nothing different. She went to like this all women's council, all women's event, and they asked her, what is it like to be a cleaner for politicians? So if you guys think that, shout out to my man Jay. So if you guys think that that Diddy is going to get away with this, no, it just depends on how much time he got. He said, Andre, was your charges for stealing? No, that wasn't me. That was the snitch. Prison slavery for the industrial complex. Yes. No, that wasn't me. I wasn't stealing the cars. No, that was the snitch that was stealing the cars. I was doing other things. Either way, the world that I was in, we all was wrong. Looking back at it, in the world that I was in, we all were wrong. Wasn't none of us right. Wasn't none of my friends doing the right thing. I ain't had no friends that was doing the right thing. I had no friends in college. I had no friends that had a regular job. Man, I had no friends. I'm going to tell you something. At that time period in my life, I had no friends that had a job. Nobody was employed. We out there in them streets. I done had one colleague that wasn't strapped. We doing everything that we ain't supposed to be doing at that age in life. With no guidance, no discipline, no male role models. We just out there, a bunch of young knucklehead young men caught up in the prison industrial complex. During the Clinton administration, you know, when Clinton and Biden and all of them was trying to lock up anything that was moving, especially if you were black or in Latin. So I couldn't be, you know, I look back, I couldn't be mad at the snitch because all of us were dirty. All of us were dirty. It's just like when me and Andre were talking today, and I'm not going to harp on this long because I want to go back to the Diddy part. Andre and I were talking about this today. Yep, that Clinton crime bill. I got caught up in that. That conspiracy law, that racketeering laws. You know how many brothers that was locked up just for having dinner with their cousin that was a drug dealer or a bank robber or anything that was federal, and they didn't tell that their cousin, in other words, they didn't call the feds. Feds, I think my cousin is a drug dealer. Because they didn't make that call, I know plenty of dudes that's in jail for 2 to 5 years for not even telling. That's how the conspiracy laws were at that time period. I mean, I know some dudes that were good dudes. I know one brother was a straight up church dude, traveled the country. He got a voice like Fred Hammond. I mean, this brother he owned his own business at that time period. In early 90s, he was making $200,000 a year. I'm just talking about all around good family dude. Ain't done nothing to nobody ever. And he was having dinner with his brother. I think I told you guys this story. He was having dinner with his brother. And because he was having dinner with his brother, and they will all have the brothers and them while he eating, they're plotting a bank robbery. He ain't thinking that they for real. So he just eating. Man, y'all talking crazy. He's eating. He paid for the meal with his credit card receipt, right? After the bank robbery goes down, his brother and all the guys get caught. The feds say, who else was at that dinner? They said nobody. They found out my boy, they went to that restaurant, found my boy's receipt. He paid with the credit card. They found his credit card receipt, 5 years in federal prison, right there with me. I knew I was a criminal, but this brother wasn't a criminal at all. And there was plenty of dudes that was in prisons, especially in the feds, that ain't had nothing to do with crime. Had nothing to do with crime. So I understand that. So when you guys sit back and you see certain guys that they've been incarcerated at one point in time, don't judge the dude because you don't know that person's story. Because I know plenty of dudes that had nothing to do with crime, but because they didn't tell, I know mamas that got locked up. I know aunties, cousins. They're thinking that this dude bought this car as a gift for his mama on his birthday. Come to find out, the feds come in and say, wait a minute. He paid cash. Wasn't no taxes paid on this car when he first purchased it. I don't know. I'm 42 years old, baby. And they locked my 42-year-old ass up along with her son that was a drug dealer, or her sons that were drug dealers. Locked mom right on up. I know one brother, he was a mailman. This dude was a mailman. Okay. The story of or the book New Jack City was not written about New York. It was written about the Chamber brothers in Detroit, Michigan. Everything that you saw in New Jack City, cutting up the other drugs and all that, and them being in abandoned houses and naked, those are the cut-up girls. Cut-up girls were part of our community. You knew that they weren't out there selling nothing. They make their money. They get buy their little cute scooter, buy them some outfits, and they would go cut up the drugs after school. In the show, they made it seem like it were older women. No, these were like 16, 17-year-old girls, because the dudes that were drug dealers in the movie. See, in the movie, they had Wesley Snipes and all of them looking older. No, dude, we were all like 18, 19, 20 years old. They made that. He wrote the book based off of what took place in Detroit with the Currys and the Chambers and Fats and White Boy Rick and all of them. All of them was at the same Young Boys Incorporated. All of them was in the same era that I was in. YBI. All you Detroit boys, you know what I'm talking about. All you Earl Flynn's. Let's take you way back. But at the end of the day, guys, it was so crazy to see that they had indicted their brother also. This is the funny part. Y'all ready? In the movie New Jack City, you know, Wesley Snipes, you know, he kind of a tall brother. You know, Alan Payne, kind of a tall brother. Everybody's the true Chamber brothers couldn't have been no taller than 6'7". It was 4 brothers. One of them was just a regular postal worker. He's just a regular postal worker. But because he didn't snitch on his brothers, he ended up doing 5 years. And they even came for his mama, for their mother. And they took the time and said, listen, as long as y'all don't indict our mother, because the feds had planned on it anyway, we'll give you our connections and we'll do, and they gave them 75 years apiece. Just like your boy. And I remember meeting them dudes and hanging out with them because they was cool. Them dudes had best friends, and best friends wasn't even drug dealers. Best friends was like Omar or The Wire. Just imagine if you had 10 Omars and all they did was rob and delete people. Like if somebody owed you money, you call best friends. If you want to get somebody, you call best friends. Just if you had like 10 Omars. That's what them dudes were. Them dudes were just cleaners, straight cleaners. When they came through, ain't no talking. Ain't no talking when best friends come through. And those dudes had best friends working for them. So I mean, all of us, all these kind of funny because these all were like street heroes, man. These in Detroit, these dudes are street heroes. White Boy Rick, man, please. A white boy, man, Rick was so famous and so rich, so young. When y'all see the White Boy Rick movie, man, that dude was that dude for real. But let's get back to talking about Diddy. But my point is that, once again, feds don't waste no ink. They didn't waste any ink in our generation. They're not going to waste any ink in this generation. In other words, if they put out an indictment and that by the time that ink dries, somebody going to jail. Diddy going to be red. Shawshank Redemption. Diddy might be one of the dudes that was attacking Red. He said, yeah, Diddy might be red. You might be right. Brother from down under says, he said, I remember those crime stories from Detroit. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, man, them dudes were killers, dude. That's all they did. Them dudes loved it. One of them, man, I met, man, a best friends in the Fed, met him in the Feds. He had got like 20 years. This dude had, you know how some people are born with kind of like a deformed arm? Man, how come that was his way of getting up on people? He said, because nobody thought somebody with a disability would either rob them or delete them. He said, you know how many bodies I got just because dudes allowed me to walk up on them? Because they were so busy looking at my little arm, they wasn't looking at my other arm. I said, you lying. He said, man, I ain't lying. He said, man, these dudes too busy looking at this arm. They ain't even looking at this arm coming up. Blah, blah. He said, I'll be right. He said, I could get a dude just right that close. He said, dudes wouldn't even run from me because they automatically assumed that the person that was out to get them or to delete them couldn't be a disabled dude. No. He said, and that's why I was able to get dudes. I said, wow. Yeah, there's some crazy dudes out. Yeah. Yeah. And then the YBI boys, Young Boys Incorporated, everybody under the age of 18. So at that time period, you couldn't keep a kid in jail. There was no laws to no juvenile, nothing. These kids were making buku money. I'm going way back with the buku money. And the police would try to arrest them, but they couldn't. Why? They were kids. All you could do is just call their parents. Ain't no parents to call. So YBI knew all they had to do was have their workers under the age of 18, and they were good. Yeah, Detroit was wild back then. He said, Boom said if they count to 3, they never made it to 3. Man, listen. Believe me. Believe me. Let's get back to the Diddy situation. And these attorneys right now are talking about what took place. So let's continue on hearing what they have to say about this. I'll scroll this back a little bit for all you guys that just came in.
Believe, and again, simply my hypothesis, he is innocent until proven guilty, that he will be arrested and indicted on sex trafficking charges. I have no doubt about that. And I do believe that he was most likely the kingpin of this. These girls, what that tells me, if it's out of the Southern District of New York, is this is spanning multiple states, and that he is trafficking or allegedly trafficking girls across multiple states, across the United States. This isn't just an isolated incident in one location. And so I have heard things as well about his Hamptons parties and things happening in those Hamptons parties as well. So I suspect more evidence may come out as a result of that. But these are extremely serious charges. And part of me, too, is frustrated by somewhat the complacency, right, of the entertainment industry as a whole in this. And I think sometimes people fly under the radar for a long time, like Epstein did as well, because people are scared. People want to still climb the ranks. And we're doing it all the while sort of sacrificing the safety of these young victims or girls that are involved in this. And that is deeply troubling.
Before we get into more of this, I hear you, and I think, you know, it's really, really frightening to think about. I mean, I read all these allegations and the lawsuits, and I've never heard anything like it. And obviously, we don't know exactly where this investigation's going. But if Combs is charged with federal crimes here, but he's not in the country, and he's actually in a country or a jurisdiction where there's no extradition agreement, how do you get him back? What do federal authorities do?
That's a really good question. And I looked up just because I was curious actually about Antigua. Yeah. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Some I do, some I don't. But we do have an extradition treaty with them. Right now, though, because of the public nature of this, I have a very hard time believing that a country would allow his plane to land with him on it in their country.
Now, this came out just a few months ago when they were talking about, Diddy's plane. Is he on it? Is he's not? If he's not on it, let's look at it from this perspective. There are a lot of countries that don't F with us. We know this. There's a lot of countries that don't F with us. Diddy could have landed that plane in Cuba easy. There's been plenty of people that escaped to Cuba and still living their lives. There are countries in other parts of the world, they don't F with us. They ain't gonna send no Diddy back. You can ask Russell. So when they sit back and say, I can't believe that a country will let Diddy land his plane in there. There are countries that don't F with the United States will say, come on, Kenya, come on in, come on through. We don't mess with US anyway. There are plenty of countries. Do not assume Americans. The biggest mistake that we make as Americans, we have such a large international ego. Oh, Andrea said yes. I'm not expecting you to defend us. Yeah, we have such a large international ego. Shout out to Mrs. Spence. And we think that everybody cool with us other than Cuba and North Korea. That ain't true. If we ask for somebody to be sent back, they'll automatically send them back. That ain't true. There are plenty of countries that don't F with us like that. And until we as Americans realize everybody don't F with you, then we'll be more at understanding of how this world works. But I'm gonna tell you guys something straight up from my travels and the travels of other people, as well as those who are in international waters right now and enjoying their lives because they know that they're never going to be sent back to the United States. Everybody does not F with us. So just, yeah. Yep. Ask true. This is way back in the day with Roman Polanski. This is way back in the day when they were saying Roman was messing with them girls and he was the man. Roman ain't care. Roman hit them jets and gave them the deuces, didn't he? He ain't glance back. Roman ain't lose a dime. He ain't lose a dime. It wasn't like he went to another country, was broke and starving and in need. Man, Roman lived his life. Russell doing the same thing. Yeah, BRICS don't mess with, no, they don't mess with the United States like that. Man, Diddy could have went to a country and wished they would come for him, but he didn't. A lot of dudes try to sit back and, I'm innocent. I didn't do what I did. It's on film. Soon as the films came out, I'd have been on a jet. Soon as the news came out with Cassie, man, please, you would have called me here. I'd have been moving around that night like I was Batman. Andre only comes out at night. Believe you me. Let's go back to the video.
But we do have an extradition treaty with them. Right now, though, because of the public nature of this, I have a very hard time believing that a country would allow his plane to land with him on it in their country. They don't have to let him land if they don't want to. And so I think that it would be very difficult for him to be able to land in an inhospitable country simply because they don't want him. We do have extradition treaties with more countries than I think people would think. And typically they will send folks back to us as long as we take the death penalty off of the table. And I don't believe that this is a death penalty case. It's Southern District of New York. And so I believe that whether we have an extradition treaty or not with whatever country he may or may not go to, they will send him back.
And talk to me about what you think they have in terms of a case, because, right, you say they want to preserve the evidence for a potential.
Let's pause right there. She said, their countries, expedition. Andre, I come with the receipts. I ain't trying to hear what you're talking about. I'm trying to come with some receipts. So let's go right here, right now. Let's put this up on the screen. Countries that do not extradite to the U.S. China, Russia. You ain't getting extradited. Morocco. Botswana. Nope. We're looking at least, I know Colombia is not on that list. I don't think Colombia is on that list. I know Colombia does have the extradition treaty. Yeah, they do have the extradition treaty. So, not Colombia. Montenegro. We're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 15 countries that we're looking at right now that this man could have chose to go to. 15 countries. Vietnam. We're not talking about, and this is not the whole list because there are other countries. Let's see if we can look up even more countries on the list because I know Bali is on that list. Let's get rid of this. Let's pause that. Let's see if we can scroll down to see the countries. The United States, with which they know are often refuse extradition requests. Oh, Ecuador, I didn't know that. Cuba, Bolivia, Nicaragua, Iceland, Switzerland, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, in other countries, on the other hand, countries such as Spain and Yemen are known for returning fugitives. So not Spain, not Yemen, but I didn't think about that. Ecuador, I did think about Cuba. I didn't think about Bolivia. I didn't think about Nicaragua, Iceland, Switzerland, Venezuela. That's a good point with Venezuela. Zimbabwe. And then here's a list right here. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm saying. Okay, we're looking at the same thing. Here's the list right here. Afghanistan, Algeria. So we got a few of them up here. Let's scroll down. Barbados has, wait a minute, Barbados does. Belarus doesn't. Bangladesh doesn't. We already looked at Botswana. Cameroon, Cambodia, Burundi, Cape Verde, the Central African Republic, Chad, China, DR Congo, Equatorial Guinea, which is the only Spanish-speaking country in Africa. I didn't know Ethiopia. This brother could have been in Ethiopia right now. Get the heck out of here. Right now. Gabon or Gabon? The country of Georgia? Guinea, Indonesia. Of course, you don't want to be in Iran, so the Ivy Coast in that. This dude could have been in the Ivy Coast in Africa right now, even as we speak. Not in Manhattan getting arrested in a hotel. Wow. Libya, Madagascar, Maldives. Man, the islands of the Maldives. Shout out to my man, Russell Simmons. Moldova, Morocco, Mozambique. Could have been all throughout Africa. I don't think you want to go to Palestine or Qatar. Taiwan. Syria, Pakistan, he could have been even the Vatican. Even the Vatican. Even the Vatican would have let him stay, fellas. He could have stayed with the Pope. Diddy could have been with the Pope, fellas. Right. He could have been right in Indonesia right now with Russell, laughing his at Russell. Hey, you want another? Hey, you know how to make I know how to make Ciroc mixes. Let me make another drink for us. Ciroc, dog. I got you. You know how I do. I'll make that mix for you, baby. I'll be right back. Man, instead of being over there with Russell, he over here. Yep, he could have been he could have been over there with O'Shea Duke Jackson. Back at it again. He could have been over there with O'Shea. I just showed you guys the receipts. This man did not look at all those countries. We looked at least 25 countries where that dude could have not been here. It could have been good. Took his money. I know he got money overseas, and he'd have been all right. And don't sleep on Vietnam. Absolutely correct. Because I remember when Ace Live went over there and a few other YouTubers. Could have been in Vietnam living his life. You know how many white boys, shout out to my white boys. You know how many white boys are over there right now that was in Diddy's situation? And they're in those countries right now. And the feds just can't get them. Living their lives. Living La Vida Loca. He said Vietnam was one of my best vacations. Went to Phuket Island. Or Phuket Island. Or Phuket, sorry. Island. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Fukado? Or Fukos? Fudu? He's not getting bail. So let us see. I would be surprised if he does get bail, but that's the feds, man. Feds can hold you in great exchange. Just imagine, man. And this is the reason why I say, fellas, and I mean this, we were all just having fun with Diddy in regards to finding out what countries won't extradite. But this is what I mean about keep everything clean until you move outside the United States, bruh. I'm not saying do dirt when you leave the States. I'm not saying that. But for those of us that really plan on making the United States our second home and not our only home, bruh, you got to be careful. All it takes is one thing. And you got to deal with that one thing to clear everything up until you leave. Man, don't put yourself in those situations. Diddy should have been gone. R. Kelly should have been gone. These are men that have traveled the world already. But I can understand, though. Because I remember Beyonce said at one point in time, she said, yes, I've traveled the world several times over. She said, but I was only going from hotel to the concert venues to maybe a restaurant, and that was it. She said, so I traveled the world 2 or 3 times. She said, but I had never seen the world until I purposely took a vacation around the world. She said, so don't think because we're performers, we get a chance to literally see these places. She said, no, if I got 5 concerts lined up for that city, she said, I got rehearsals and everything. I don't have time to visit the stuff that you guys get a chance to visit and explore it and really get to know the countries like you guys do. I got shows to do. So it is with Puffy. So he may not have had in the other entertainers. They may not have gotten a chance to actually see these places as places where they can live, because they were in and out to the next city, in and out to the next country. To where you and I, we go to places and we really kind of like try to get to know places. Yeah, still don't have no knucklehead friends. If you any knucklehead friends you got in the States, I know y'all been cool since y'all was 15. Bro, you gotta let that partner go. Or at least put him on a leash. No, you can't. When I got ready to leave, man, it wasn't no clubbing, wasn't no partying. No, I wasn't drinking like that in the States. All my drinking was for outside the States. No. No. I wasn't going to no more cigar bars with my boys. None of that, man. No. All my fun was outside the States, man. No. Keeping us enough assets in censorship, in a censorship resistance assets like Bitcoin, absolutely correct, T-Matt, so that if any time goes bad, then it can never be confiscated, true, and restricted unless you allow it. It can be redeemed anywhere. This is so true. This is so true. I'd have flipped a certain amount of money over to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I'd have been, man, listen. You'd have called me the gingerbread man. Catch me if you can. I'm the gingerbread man. Believe that one. Believe that one. Let's go back to the video. Shout out to my man in the building. Let's go back right here. So let me add the video back to the stage.
Prosecution against either him or someone else. There's a criminal case building, but they had to have probable cause for the search warrant to be issued. And I wonder, I mentioned some of the interviews. They wouldn't have had enough to try to arrest him first and then do the raid, or they need the raid first to see what's at the property before they can build a case and build charges and then arrest him. Talk to me about the timeline of how this typically works in terms of if we're seeing a raid on several properties. Does that in conjunction with an arrest? Does that come before an arrest? Does that, how does it typically work?
Typically, Jesse, it's in conjunction with an arrest. But I started thinking about this a little bit more last night, and I was thinking that if he has videos or his associates have videos, and they are attempting to distribute those of young male children or female children, that means that a child is in imminent danger. And so part of me wonders if this was done to stop that, and that they will get to the arrest obviously at some point, because as you mentioned, typically these warrants are served and there's usually an indictment that goes hand in hand with that at the same time. So in my opinion, it's not unheard of. It's just a little bit unusual. We don't typically see this. Anytime we did raids at the FBI of this nature, we also had an arrest warrant for the individual as well. And so it is unusual, but I don't want to say it's unheard of. And again, I'm just speculating, but part of me wonders if this was still actively being distributed. And if it is, they need to shut that down immediately.
Were you surprised at the response that we saw from Douglas Wigdorf? This is a lawyer for Cassie Ventura and one of the Jane Does in response to reports of this search warrant that was issued on Sean Combs. Now, remember, Cassie Ventura settled with Sean Combs, but the statement says, quote, "We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct." Now, again, in light of that settlement doesn't necessarily mean you're saying Combs is completely innocent. It's you've agreed to resolve the issue. Doesn't absolve him of wrongdoing, but to make that statement, I think that's something to be said. Now, again, of course, he's representing someone else that's continually suing Sean Combs. But again, that statement I thought was really interesting. What was your take on it?
And that was the same thing that happened with Bill Cosby. Just because he paid the ladies off didn't mean that he was innocent. But in Bill Cosby's case, he was able to be released from jail because technically those files shouldn't have never been opened up. I don't know why these people did that, but the sad part was they still, no matter if he won, he still went to prison for a few years. So did he win? You know, even though he got out of jail, he still was in jail for a few years, even though he paid those women off. And let's go back to the conduct. So, because I like what Frank put, depraved conduct. I can't lie. As a man, I'm glad to see these monsters locked up, bro. I hate to see that it's in our community, but we know that it's always been there. It's just it's been spoken in silence in the Black community. But we always knew there was some weird uncle that was always around in the communities. So we can't deny that that this isn't something that we aren't glad that it's being brought to the light in our community just as much as being brought to light in any other communities. Because we're not saying that Diddy did anything other than what we saw in video. We have no proof of anything else. So everything else is allegations. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that they're doing that as far as cracking down on individuals that like them little girls. I don't know what's wrong with y'all, man. Leave them girls alone. And when you come to Colombia, man, I know so many dudes that I don't talk to anymore because they just think that I'm in another country, so I could just get away with anything. So now, 5,600. That's the word. 2023, 5,600 men, Black men, white men, Latin men of all races were turned away in Colombia last year from entering to the country because they got a history of messing with them little kids. If y'all think Colombia is not cracking down either like the United States, y'all crazy, man. People tired of this. People are tired of their daughters being coerced and being misled by these individuals. Now, if she's of age, okay, so be it. She's an adult. But come on now. So when you guys go to these other countries, man, I know everybody want to cry innocent. Not me, bro. I got you. I feel you, brothers. But for those creepy dudes that's out there, don't think that you come to Colombia and be creepy. I'm telling you, South America is cracking down just as much as the States are, bruh. 5,600 dudes in 2023 alone. Just imagine 5,600 dudes getting off a plane. Okay. Just imagine 40, 50 airplanes full of dudes. Because the average airplane only holds 300 people, 350, 200. So just imagine, let's put that 20. Just imagine 20 airplanes full of people being turned around. Filled to capacity. All men of all different races. That's how many dudes got turned away from Colombia last year, dude. So if you're on that creepiness, I'm telling you, this is not the continent where you want to do that. And North America is saying it's not the continent where you want to do that either. So I'm giving you guys heads up, man. If you're a creepy dude and you got a passport, bruh, it's going to be hard trading for you in a lot of countries, bruh. I'm going to say this again. If you're a creepy dude, you know who I'm talking to. I'm not talking to most of us, but I may be talking to somebody that might watch this video a week or two from now. If you're a creepy dude, I'm telling you, the way the world is set up right now, they coming for you. Well, she showed me her ID. Man, if a chick got to show you her ID, leave her alone. If you got to question her ID, what's wrong with you? Seriously, if a chick got to pull out an ID to show age, You shouldn't be kicking it with her anyway, especially in these countries where it's so many beautiful women anyway. You can cut that chick off and it's 15 other fine ones that's gonna come through in Brazil. But you gotta have this one. I gotta pull out an ID. Man, y'all gonna keep doing it that way. You will not be able to say that ain't nobody tell you. I'm giving y'all dudes heads up how South America moving right now when it comes to these young ladies. I'm giving y'all heads up. When I first got here, it was kind of like hush hush. Nobody talked about it. Now it's out in the open. They're making movies about it and everything, dude. I'm telling y'all, this is not the time. This is not the time to be messing with them young people in the States, and it's not that time to be coming to thinking that you can run down to South America and mess with young kids. I'm telling you, boy, they coming for you. They coming for you. And if you think I'm playing, okay, they're going to stop turning y'all away, and they're going to start letting y'all in and just locking your happy tail up here in this country. Yeah, they're not playing in South America, bro. Them days are over. Shout out to my man, Black Nubian, over there. Them Canadian boys.
I told this guy where I was from. He said, oh, Canada.
Let me get back to the video. Yeah. Yeah, man. Kid you not, man. They serious. I keep trying to, I'm saying this to give you guys a heads up because I love you. You're my family. But bruh, if you messing with them kids, hold on, bruh. If you gotta ask, if you're 40, you gotta ask a chick in Vietnam, let me see your ID first. You shouldn't be messing with her if you gotta ask her for ID. What the fuck wrong with you? Y'all keep on living like y'all Hannibal Lecter, and they're gonna lock you up like Hannibal Lecter. All right, let's go back to the video. Let's get back to the video. My bad.
Statement was interesting. My question about it, though, is did he tip them off? Did he provide them with information? Did Cassie Ventura or any of these individuals involved in these civil suits also provide evidence along with that to build this criminal case? Because obviously those two things are separate. So in my opinion, in listening to that statement, it actually sounds like maybe they did. And that's incredible that they did that, because I believe that Cassie Ventura was absolutely a victim of pretty horrific things. And if she was able to document all of that and provide evidence, then that absolutely would go to building his criminal case.
It's so crazy to think about this. I mean, again, and I'm not surprised by that connection to New York, because I go back to Little Rod Jones, and he said he was assaulted at different places, including in New York.
And let's not forget, once again, in Diddy's situation, it's not just males and it's not just females coming after him. It's like, just like in this case, it's female. I mean, it's males that got evidence. Hey, Diddy did stuff to me too. It's males also. So it's not just females. Just putting it out there. T-Mac says people need to leave those kids, those children alone. He said, I am for the protection of these babies. Absolutely correct. He said, I volunteer with children organizations in Medellin, and the stories are horrible. 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 Shout out to my man in the building. Shout out to you, brother. Mr. Guap in the building. I kid you not, guys. It is sad. It's sad, but let's continue on. I'll tell you guys something. That's one of the reasons why I'm not when I see guys walking around with the Pablo Escobar shirts on, or making Pablo seem like he's the, he was an anti-hero. He was he was a hero. But when I see all that about Pablo, what you guys be doing in the States to be hyping him up, if you knew how many girls in Colombia got kidnapped, abused, and deleted for that crazy dude's pleasure for a desire for virgin girls, you would not be walking around bragging about Pablo. And when they caught him, I told you guys this before, when the news broke on him and those girls, everybody knew about the drug dealers, but everybody's trying to find out what all these little girls coming up missing. They wonder where these teenage kids, these girls and daughters, fathers will have to walk their kids, their son, their daughters and sons to school and make sure everybody was up, dude, and go pick, dude. It was so that y'all think about the drug dealing part. It was like Colombia also was like, remember doing the Atlanta child deletions that were taking place? And I remember they in Detroit, they would find little girls for a minute. They would find kids in abandoned buildings because we got so many abandoned buildings in Detroit to where parents had to literally walk their kids to the bus stop or to school and come pick them up because there were so many kids back like in the late 70s, early 80s where they were just snatching up little black kids all across the country. Same thing was happening with Pablo. This dude was just snatching kids up by the hundreds. And when they found out that it was him and his crew, he deleted a bunch of kids. I think it was about 40 plus kids that he deleted on that day when they found out that was him. So while y'all thinking they were looking for him just as the drug lord, that wasn't the only reason they were about to lock his crazy up. So all that worship, that's why you don't hear Colombians talk about Pablo, not because of all the evil thing that he did, because of the flight, the airplane that he blew up, not because of the being the drug lord, but also because of what happened to a lot of these people's nieces, granddaughters that they never got a chance to see again. So when I say that Colombians don't automatically trust everybody, it's a reason behind it. So when y'all think Colombian women just automatically trust y'all crazy. Well, we don't trust them. Don't worry, they don't trust you either. And they got a reason. And a lot of times it's not your fault. But because they got aunties that never were seen again. They got little cousins that were never seen again. Little sisters that were never seen again. Now these women, years later, they're 30, 40, 50 years old, 60 years old. And they don't trust y'all with their granddaughter. You crazy. They were around 40 years ago what happened with Pablo. This was 30 years ago. 94. All right. Let's get back to the video. Dude was a monster, man, just like Diddy. And even though and that's allegedly, now I don't want to put that out there on our brother Diddy. But that's just allegedly. But we knew that we do know about the domestic part, the violence part. But I'm showing no grace to Russell Simmons. You know, it's just the fact that he had enough sense to lead the country, but that doesn't mean that he didn't do it. I'm not showing any grace to Bill Cosby just because, he an older dude and he got out of jail. Don't mean that he didn't do it. I believe that a lot of those women knew what they were doing with Bill Cosby of that era. And they just try to make money off of him because they broke and he got money. But I don't think Bill is 100% innocent either. But let's go back.
So again, what can we expect next to happen as this story develops? And I imagine it's going to develop quite rapidly.
I agree with you. I think it's going to develop quite rapidly as well. I think the next thing that will happen is an indictment of P. Diddy. That's what I think, and that he will be taken into custody hopefully soon at some point. But honestly, I'm not sure. This is, like I said, a little bit unusual, and that there isn't an indictment yet, although I think one may be forthcoming.
What about other individuals? Because remember, going back to one of the lawsuits, there was an allegation there were violations of the TVPA, the Trafficking and Victims Protection Act, big law aimed at fighting against domestic and international human slavery, and they were filing a civil action with respect to it. But you're basically saying these minors are engaging in commercial sex acts. I would imagine that if this is a really big operation, we could potentially see arrests of other individuals connected to the rapper, right?
I agree. I think we will probably see the arrest of one or both of his sons, because I believe that they, based on evidence in cases that we've seen in the past from a civil perspective, they have been allegedly involved in this. But at the same time, too, I think that there may be a lot of people who have associated with him in his circle that are probably scared right now because they may have had some involvement in this as well. And so in my opinion, I think they will start at the top, obviously arresting Diddy or his sons. And from there, in my opinion, they may try to plea. I don't think he's going to completely avoid jail time or anything like that if he's indicted, but maybe they will try to plead to get names of other individuals that are associated with this. But again, completely my hypothesis, Jesse.
And I'll leave on this. There was reporting, there was an allegation that Combs may have been allegedly harassing Mr. Jones because of that lawsuit that he filed. Jones alleges that Combs sent agents to intimidate his 8-year-old daughter and the mother of his child and his ex-wives. So you talk about the imminence of this raid. You talk about the manpower put forward by this raid. If that is true, and again, we don't know if it's connected to the lawsuit in any way, but that's something else to think about, right?
100%. He has a pretty long documented history of threatening individuals and asking them to, I guess, clean up his mess or clean up his dirty work, if you will. And so that is not at all surprising to me. And I do assume that individuals who may have been involved in speaking out or testifying in any of these civil cases may also be awarded some type of security and protection as well.
Tracy Walder, you're the best. Thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
All right. That's the end of that. I know it's after 1 o'clock where you guys are, so we're going to wrap this up, and I'm going to drop this as small clips throughout the week on our other channel, Love Crossing Borders Live. So make sure you guys subscribe. But as I said before, let's make sure that, hope everything works out for all parties involved. But as for you and I, let's make sure that we keep our lives crisp and clean, no caffeine, never had it, never will, no meat byproducts. Make sure that we keep our lives clean, because you guys got so many amazing plans that I don't want to see any of us have our dreams deferred because of some foolishness. Once again, my name is Andre of Love Crossing Borders. Shout out to you guys on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble, Young Men Rumble. Shout out to all you guys over there. We got 25 guys over there watching on Rumble. Appreciate you guys so much, man. I'm out of here, and I'll talk to you guys later. Let's get a good outro going. You guys haven't seen the Cowgirls in a while. Let's do the Cowgirls.
Viene de allá abajo del otro conoce fronteras, hasta el más fino la espera. Belleza y cadencia tiene al mundo alborotado. China, Suecia, Barbados lo bailan en todos lados. Cumbia y nos vamos a viajar, cerca, cerquita de la mar. Cumbia, mis lentes, lentes pa' mirar. La reina, la santa, mi despertar. Cumbia y nos vamos a viajar, y nos vamos a viajar cerca, cerquita de la mar, de la cordillera al mar. Cumbia, mis lentes, lentes pa' mirar, mi manera de mirar. La santa, mi despertar. El que sabe, sabe, y el que no la cola.
This ain't a beamer, this a big dance. Chrome heart got me kissing on his best friend. Put in work, baby, you could be my best man. Sending cash to my account, he investing. Dark shades on when I'm off the Migos. He's tryna cuff me like a in a Rico. Moving through this like GTA with a cheat code. He claimed that he love me, but before not a freak. I just wanna dance all night. Can't nobody do it just like I. Boy, you got just what I like. Come on, baby, let's kiss, don't fight. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like. Ooh, damn, tell the DJ turn the beat up. Got a white boy who be singing like a Beatle. Claim she getting bread, but I heard she doing keto. I don't do drugs, I'ma smoke a little weed up. I can't chase a man for no paper. Just think it's sweet, I'ma show him now or later. I be getting money on the wake up. He a broke boy, tell that get his cake up. Only with dope boys, they the ones who spinning paper, get your weight up. Told him send an Addy and to stay up. Out here mad, told him assalamu alaikum. Who that 5'5", she don't even need no makeup. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Just say the word, baby, I'ma get you right. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. What you wanna do? Tell me what you like. Ain't gotta say it, I know I'm the one you like.